Okay, my dear children, now after discussing several questions earlier, right, several essay type questions earlier, right, now here once again we are going to discuss several other types of questions. But however, you are given with another figure to answer the questions by checking the figures. Okay, so we'll answer this one also and we'll check what are the other types of questions given in this within this chapter. Okay, so the question number 4, here you can observe two plant leaves. In the first plant leaf there is green colored area and white colored areas. Then the same plant leaf is the one which is given in the other side, but however it is after the starch test. Now this is before the starch test. So white color area means, my dear children, those are the mosaic areas. So you know that in the mosaic areas there is no chlorophyll. As there is no chlorophyll, we can observe the white color in the plant leaf. So these white color areas, there is no chlorophyll. So if there is no chlorophyll in white color areas, upon photosynthesis, right, or the photosynthesis will occur only in green areas but not in white areas. Okay, because chlorophyll is a very important factor for the process of photosynthesis. So after the starch test, the same observation can be seen. White color areas with no color change, but green color areas with dark purple or blue color. Okay. So by doing this activity, or from this activity, we can conclude that chlorophyll is pretty much important for the process of photosynthesis. Chlorophyll is really important for the process of photosynthesis. This can be concluded from this activity. So let's head on to see the questions given. What is the factor which needed for photosynthesis? Examined here. So in here, we are going to examine the necessity of chlorophyll, right, to show that chlorophyll is important for the photosynthesis. So chlorophyll is our answer. Chlorophyll. Next one, write a suitable plant leaf for above experiment. Now you have to write down a suitable plant leaf. So when you are selecting this plant leaf should contain green color area as well as some different colored areas like red, yellow or purple, like that way, different color areas, plus there should be green areas as well. Croton plant, croton is a good example, or that is good for this kind of a experiment. For this experiment we can use croton, right? So croton. Croton. Croton is having different kinds of mosaic leaves. There are different kinds of croton, and these croton plants have different kinds of mosaic leaves, my dear children. Right then. Next question. Explain the reason for having above observation. Now you need to observe these two leaves very carefully. Actually, the same leaf can be identified here before the starch test and after the starch test. So you have to explain the reason for this. So reason is quite simple. Areas which has chlorophyll, or area which is in green color has chlorophyll. So photosynthesis will occur and color change can be observed. White color area do not have chlorophyll. That's why it is in white color. So therefore, in those areas, right, in those areas, photosynthesis will not occur. Photosynthesis will not occur, and therefore color test cannot be identified. Once again, my dear children, Green color area contains chlorophyll. So therefore, within green color area, you can observe the dark purple or dark blue color as there is starch. But whiter areas, they do not have chlorophyll. That's why it is in white color. So therefore, when you are going to put iodine solution into those areas that having white color, we can't observe the color change because there is no starch. Okay, so that is the reason for our observation. So we'll write down the reason then. Green area contain chlorophyll. Green area contains chlorophyll. Therefore, photosynthesis will occur and color change can be observed. And color change can be observed. But white areas do not have chlorophyll. Right? But white areas do not have chlorophyll. Therefore, photosynthesis will not occur. Right? Therefore, photosynthesis will not occur. So, green area contains chlorophyll. Therefore, photosynthesis will occur and color change can be observed. But white areas do not have chlorophyll. Therefore, photosynthesis will not occur and color change cannot be observed. Right? And color change cannot be observed. Right? So this is the reason for having above observation. What is the final conclusion from this activity? Chlorophyll is very necessary for photosynthesis. Chlorophyll is important for photosynthesis. This is the final conclusion that we can take from the experiment. So chlorophyll is important for photosynthesis. Once again, why we are getting this kind of an observation? It's because green area contains chlorophyll. Therefore, photosynthesis will occur and color change can be observed. But however, white areas do not have chlorophyll, right? Therefore, photosynthesis will not occur and color change cannot be observed. So this is the reason for having this kind of a observation. In whiter areas, we can't observe the color change. However, in this greenish area, we can observe the color change. So starch is produced only in greener areas, but not in whiter areas. It's because, my dear children, whiter areas do not have chlorophyll, therefore photosynthesis is not going to occur, therefore starch is not getting produced. Greenish area, they contain chlorophyll, so in that particular areas we can observe the color change because the photosynthesis is going to happen in that places. Okay, right then. Another figure is given in question number 5. Another figure is given. Check. In C, there is water with a polythene bag, and in D, there is a KOH solution. Here, KOH means potassium hydroxide. KOH means potassium hydroxide, my dear children. Okay. So this is potassium hydroxide. Potassium hydroxide. So I think you could remember, I told you that when we are discussing a question related to that MCQ part, I told you that hydroxide has an ability to absorb carbon dioxide. So potassium hydroxide is a good alternative that can be used to absorb carbon dioxide from a certain environment. Okay, so within this polythene bag, you know that within the polythene bag, you know that there is carbon dioxide which is already trapped within the bag. So when you are going to add potassium hydroxide into that polythene bag, what will happen here is all the carbon dioxide contained within the polythene bag will be absorbed to the potassium hydroxide solution. So there is no carbon dioxide in the system. If there is no carbon dioxide, then photosynthesis cannot be happen. As the main raw material needed for the photosynthesis is going to, right, it's going to disappear, or it's getting absorbed by different kind of a material, different kind of a chemical. So plant will not be able to absorb that carbon dioxide gas, which is a main raw material needed for the photosynthesis process. In that case, in D, photosynthesis will not occur, means starch is not going to be produced. If starch is not going to be produced, my dear children, we know that, right, we know that the color change also cannot be observed, right? We can't observe the color change. Iodine will not change into dark blue color from brownish yellow. It will remain in the same color, which is brownish yellow. Okay. Right then. So let's see what are the questions that been asked. So first question, what is the purpose of above experiment? So purpose of this experiment is to show that carbon dioxide gas, to show that carbon dioxide gas is important for photosynthesis. Right? To show that carbon dioxide gas is important for photosynthesis. This is the whole idea of doing this kind of a experiment. Next one. What is the use of potassium hydroxide solution? So I told you, my dear children, we use this potassium hydroxide in order to absorb carbon dioxide within the container or within the polythene bag. By absorbing carbon dioxide, okay, by absorbing carbon dioxide, we are going to limit or we are going to inhibit, okay, We are going to inhibit or we are going to limit the carbon dioxide received by the plant. So by that way, we are checking whether the photosynthesis is going to occur or not. Definitely photosynthesis will not occur. So therefore, we can say that carbon dioxide is pretty much important for the process of photosynthesis. So the use of carbon dioxide is to absorb right. So use of potassium hydroxide, not carbon dioxide. Use of potassium hydroxide is to absorb carbon dioxide gas, to absorb carbon dioxide gas from the polythene bag. Right, to absorb carbon dioxide gas from the polythene bag. This is the use of potassium hydroxide solution. Right then, next one. Write the observation of this experiment after adding iodine solution to C and D leaves separately. Now in C leaf, my dear children, in this C leaf, the factors essential for photosynthesis is observed. There is carbon dioxide, and when this thing is getting exposed to sunlight, sunlight is getting equally to C and D both. The plant itself carries chlorophyll. Water is absorbed by root hairs. You know, it is a potted plant. However, water is there. So photosynthesis is going to occur in the C leaf. However, due to having less amount of carbon dioxide, photosynthesis will not occur in D. Right? Photosynthesis will not occur in D. So if photosynthesis is not going to occur within D, then my dear children, what is going to happen here? Starch is not getting produced. Right? Starch is not getting produced in D. If starch is not getting produced in D, then what will happen? Upon adding iodine solution, the color of iodine solution will not change into purple blue or blackish blue color. So we can write C iodine turns to dark blue, right? Iodine turns to dark blue color when iodine is added to C leaf. To D, right? To D, as there is potassium hydroxide, iodine color right, iodine color remains the same. Iodine color remains the same. No color change. Right then. Explain the reasons for having such observations. So you need to explain the reasons for having such observations. So let me explain. In D, KOH solution is going to absorb carbon dioxide. Therefore, carbon dioxide is not present within D leaf. Therefore, photosynthesis will not occur. Starch is not getting produced. Therefore, iodine will not change into dark blue color. But in C leaf, all the factors necessary for the photosynthesis is present. Therefore, photosynthesis will occur and starch will produce. Therefore, right? Therefore, what will happen here is, upon adding iodine, the color of iodine will turn into dark blue color. Okay, that is the reason for having this kind of a observation. So we'll write down, my dear children. We'll take the slide somewhat up. In D, potassium hydroxide solution, right? In D, potassium hydroxide solution absorb carbon dioxide gas. Carbon dioxide gas. Therefore, photosynthesis will not occur. Right? Therefore, photosynthesis will not occur and starch will not be produced. Therefore, color of iodine solution remains the same. Right? In C, all factors necessary for photosynthesis can be observed therefore photosynthesis will occur starch will be produced and the iodine solution will turn to dark blue color dark blue color from brownish yellow. Right. So my dear children, once again in D, potassium hydroxide solution absorb carbon dioxide gas. Therefore, photosynthesis will not occur and starch will not be produced. Therefore, color of iodine solution remains the same. In C, all factors necessary for photosynthesis can be observed. Therefore, photosynthesis will occur. Starch will be produced. And the iodine solution will turn to dark blue color from brownish yellow. So this is our explanation for the observations, right? So here once again, this is the C and this is the D, right then. So we'll move on to the next question. So what is the final conclusion from this activity? So from this activity, my dear children, the final conclusion that we can take is carbon dioxide is very important for the process of photosynthesis. So we can write carbon dioxide is important for photosynthesis. Right? Carbon dioxide is important for photosynthesis. This is the final conclusion that we can take from this experiment. Right then. Next question. Write another use of the component which identified here, which is essential for the photosynthesis. Now in this activity we identified the necessity of carbon dioxide gas. So the component which is important for the photosynthesis process, which is identified by this experiment, is, my dear children, carbon dioxide gas. So you have to mention another use of carbon dioxide gas apart from photosynthesis process. So there are several uses of carbon dioxide gas. If you take carbon dioxide gas, as carbon dioxide is a non-supporter of combustion, not a combustible gas. It is not a supporter of combustion, right? It is a non-supporter of combustion. And also it is not a combustible gas. So therefore, by adding carbon dioxide into a fire, we can put off fire. Okay, we can put off fire by adding carbon dioxide. So in fire extinguishers, we use carbon dioxide foam in order to put off fire. A use. Have you heard about soda water? Soda water is prepared or made by adding carbon dioxide gas to normal water. We are bubbling carbon dioxide gas in normal water in order to produce soda water, right? Soda water is prepared by adding carbon dioxide into normal water, soda water. So we use this in making fizzy drinks. In making fizzy drinks, right, we use carbon dioxide gas. The most important use of carbon dioxide gas for the survival of biosphere is that carbon dioxide helps to maintain a proper climate or else a proper temperature within our biosphere. I told you that carbon dioxide is pretty much important to keep an optimum temperature within our biosphere. That's why when increase in carbon dioxide, the temperature or the global warming is going to happen. Because carbon dioxide, when increase in carbon dioxide in our atmosphere, in our environment, the temperature is going to rise. So what will happen if the level of carbon dioxide decreases? So if the level of carbon dioxide is going to decrease, then the temperature also will decrease in our environment. So that would lead us to an ice age, right? That would lead us to an ice age. So that's a terrible condition. All the animals, like 80 or 90% of animals may die because of having adverse environmental conditions. So it is really important to keep an optimum temperature in our atmosphere. Carbon dioxide is going to help to keep that optimum temperature in our biosphere. So that's the most important factor, other than the photosynthesis and other than those uses which I have mentioned earlier. So they are asking about just one example. No. So we'll write down the most needed example or most important example of all, right? One thing is for photosynthesis, and the next one, carbon dioxide, is very helpful to maintain a proper temperature within our biosphere. So we can write down, it helps to maintain a proper temperature biosphere. Right? It helps to maintain a proper temperature in biosphere. Right? It helps to maintain a proper temperature in the biosphere. If carbon dioxide is not there according to the needful amount, then my dear children, what will happen? Temperature in the environment will drop down and will lead to an ice age. Okay, so it's important to have carbon dioxide up to a certain level in our environment. It's not good to increase, it's not good to decrease. It should maintain in a proper level. Okay, right. Okay, then now we are going to move to different kind of a question. So here we are not answering, but here we have to put a tick if the answers are correct. If not, we have to put a cross. Right. So I'll use a different color pen in here to put crosses and ticks. Number 1. Color change with the starch test can be seen in a leaf after keeping it in dark for 48 hours. So my dear children, now we're going to take a potted plant and we are going to keep that potted plant in a darker place for 48 hours. What will happen over there? Sunlight is not getting received by the plant. And when this thing is going to keep for about 48 hours, for about 2 days, all the starch which is already being produced by the leaf is also going to use up by the plant. For their biological processes, this food item which is already being produced by the earlier photosynthetic processes is going to use up by the plant. Right? As there is no sunlight, the leaf can't do photosynthesis, therefore new starch particles will not be produced either. So if I'm going to take a plant and keep it in a darker place for about 48 hours, then I'm going to take that plant and test a certain leaf for starch. Then I can't find out any color change with the iodine. It's because all the starch which already been produced been used up, and as there is no sunlight, new starch particles are also being not produced. So my dear children, in here they are asking, color change with the starch test can be seen in a leaf after keep it in dark for 48 hours. Absolutely incorrect. Because we can't observe a color change because there is no sunlight and all the starch which already been produced has been used up within 48 hours. Right? Plant can't starve for about 48 hours, no. It should have, or it should get its nutrients or nutrition. It should do their respiration in order to get energy. So for the respiration process, glucose is really important, starch is really important, right? So my dear children, we can't observe a color change. We can't observe a color change. If I'm going to keep a potted plant in a darker place for about 48 hours, then after that I'm going to pluck a leaf, then prepare it for the starch test. Then after adding iodine, I can't see any color change because there is no starch. There is no way of making starch as I have kept that in a darker place for about 48 hours. So this statement, color change with the starch test, can be seen in a plant leaf after keeping it in dark for 48 hours. This is totally wrong, right? Color change cannot be seen with the leaf after keeping it in dark for about 48 hours. Color cannot be seen. But here they are mentioning that color can be seen. The color change can be seen. So therefore it is incorrect. Next one. Leaf should be boiled in water to dissolve chlorophyll for the starch test. Leaf should be boiled in water. No, incorrect, right? By boiling it in water, we are going to break the cell walls. In order to dissolve chlorophyll, we have to use alcohol, but not water. By using water, I told you that we can't dissolve alcohol. Right? We can't dissolve chlorophyll, sorry. We can't dissolve chlorophyll by using water. In order to dissolve chlorophyll, we have to use a solution like alcohol. So this is also incorrect. Leaf should be boiled in water to dissolve chlorophyll for the starch test. This is incorrect because we dissolve chlorophyll in alcohol but not in water. Next one. Photosynthesis takes place in leaves only. Once again you are given with a question that photosynthesis is going to take place in leaves only. Leaves only, my dear children. Incorrect once again. I told you that if you take a plant like daluk and cactus, right? These plants do not have leaves. Their leaves has been reduced to spines. However, they are going to perform photosynthesis with the help of the plant stem, right? So this is also incorrect. Photosynthesis takes place not only in leaves but also in stems. We can observe the photosynthesis process. When leaves are boiled in water, the permeability of them increases. That is correct. When I am going to boil a leaf in water, you know that cell walls are breaking down. So upon breaking down of cell walls, the permeability ability of entry and exit of particles or materials is going to increase. That is correct. It's absolutely correct. So permeability is going to increase when I'm going to boil a leaf in water. So it is correct. Okay. Next one, photosynthesis takes place only in green plants. Once again incorrect. I told you that algae, green algae is also going to perform photosynthesis. So therefore, my dear children, this is also incorrect. See, they are saying that photosynthesis takes place only in green plants. Incorrect. It's not going to happen only in green plants. Next one. There are autotrophic organisms which do not carry out photosynthesis. There are autotrophic organisms. Which do not carry out photosynthesis. I explained this thing when I was discussing about that bacteria. There are some types of bacteria who are chemoautotrophs. Means that they are using certain kind of a chemical reaction, and by that way they are generating energy. Okay, chemoautotrophs. So these chemical reactions are very essential for the production of energy within themselves, right? For the creation of food within themselves, chemoautotrophs. So my dear children, chemoautotrophs are not going to perform photosynthesis. However, they are autotrophic. Chemoautotrophic, photoautotrophic. Photo means light. Those are the two types of organisms that we can identify in our autotrophism, right? In our biosphere. The ones who are doing autotrophic organism, the autotrophism can be divided into two parts. Chemoautotrophism and photoautotrophism. In chemoautotrophism, chemical reaction is utilized. Okay. In photoautotrophism, light energy or solar energy is utilized. Okay, solar energy is utilized. So my dear children, in here they are mentioning that there are autotrophic organisms which do not carry out photosynthesis. So it is correct. Next one. Diffusion occurs in plants to remove excretory substances. Correct. To remove excretory substances, diffusion occurs. Better example is for the removal of carbon dioxide gas and water vapor given out by the respiration. Photosynthesis is going, the diffusion process is going to help out. Okay, diffusion is going to help out. Decrease in temperature increases the rate of guttation. Decrease in temperature increases the rate of guttation. That is correct, because that what happens in the night time upon increasing the humidity. Increase in humidity means lowering the temperature. So decrease in temperature increases the rate of guttation. That is correct. Right. The next type of question. Underline the correct answer. So you have to underline the correct answer from the two answers given within the bracket. Number 1. Removal of water in a plant as vapor. As vapor, the removal of water. So you know that it's quite simple. Transpiration is the process which is going to remove water in vapor. So as vapor, transpiration is the process. Transpiration is the process of removal of water in a plant as vapor. In guttation, water droplets or liquid form. Water is released out in liquid form. Okay. Next one. Gas expelled during photosynthesis. The gas which is expelled during photosynthesis. During photosynthesis, the gas which is expelled means coming out, going out. So the gas which is going out, expelled during the photosynthesis is oxygen gas. Quite obvious. Oxygen gas is the one which is getting expelled. Carbon dioxide gas is the one which is getting absorbed. Next one. simplest food produced during photosynthesis. Simplest food. They are asking about the simplest food. So you know that a starch is a collection of several glucose particles together. So it's not simple. It's a complex carbohydrate. The simplest food which is getting produced during the photosynthesis is glucose. So glucose is the simplest food which is produced during the photosynthesis. Next one. Color of iodine in a glucose solution. Now my dear children, they are asking about a glucose solution. So check the answers very carefully. Check the questions very carefully. They are asking about a glucose solution, not a starch solution. Iodine color changes into dark blue with the presence of a starch, not with the presence of glucose. So in a glucose solution, the color of iodine will remain the same, right? There is no change in the color in iodine. With the presence of glucose, it's never going to change into dark blue. Dark blue is only given with the presence of starch only. So, color of iodine in a glucose solution would be brownish yellow, not dark blue. Okay, it would remain in the same color, not dark blue color. Food is transported by xylem tissue, phloem tissue. Very simple, my dear children. Food is transported by, right? Food, you know, food is going to transport through phloem tissue as a sugar solution. So, food is transported by phloem tissue. Next one. Water, minerals transported by, very simple, xylem tissue. Food is transported by phloem tissue. Water and minerals are getting transported by xylem tissue. Next one. Plant that shows guttation. Potato, lotus. So potato, very straightforward. Potato, we can observe the guttation. 8. Deforestation increases. Deforestation means cutting down trees, right? Cutting down trees in forests. Deforestation. So upon cutting down trees, large number of trees are getting destroyed. As large number of trees are getting destroyed, the oxygen gas which is getting entered to our system, which is getting entered to atmosphere, reduces, and in the same way carbon dioxide gas is going to increase within our system, because carbon dioxide gas is getting absorbed during the process of photosynthesis. As there are less number of trees in the environment now, carbon dioxide gas will increase. Definitely carbon dioxide gas will increase. Okay, so here deforestation increases oxygen, carbon dioxide gas in atmosphere. So carbon dioxide gas is going to increase during deforestation, right? During deforestation, carbon dioxide gas is the one which is going to increase. Next one, polythene sheet is impermeable, permeable membrane. So polythene sheet is impermeable, permeable membrane. So you can say that polythene sheet is an impermeable membrane, right? It is an impermeable membrane. Polythene sheet is an impermeable membrane. So here, impermeable membrane, polythene sheet. Starch is a type of carbohydrate mineral. So I told you that in the earlier case also, starch is a good example for a carbohydrate. Starch is made by collection of several glucose molecules together. So these glucose molecules are the ones which is getting created, right? Which is getting created, which are going to create a starch. Starch is a good example for a carbohydrate. So my dear children, starch is a type of carbohydrate, right? It is a type of carbohydrate. Next one, water is given out as droplets by, really simple, if droplets are giving out, then it should be guttation, right? If droplets are given out, then it should be guttation. Water is removed by stomata, hydatodes during transpiration. So I'm going to erase that line over here so that you can see very clearly. Right. Okay. Right. So here water is removed by stomata or hydatodes during transpiration. You know that water is getting removed by a system or by leaves through hydatodes by the process of guttation. So in transpiration, by stomata, as a form of vapor, as a form of water vapor, the water is getting expelled. So my dear children, answer for this question would be water is removed by stomata during transpiration, right? So during transpiration, water is removed as water vapor through stomata. Right, my dear children, so we answer several questions related to our lesson. We discuss several questions related to our biological processes in plants lesson. First, we started from the textbook questions, right? We filled out a concept map. Then after that, we discussed several MCQ questions in our textbook. Then after that, we discussed several extra questions in our regarding this lesson, right? We discussed like 50 extra questions, MCQ questions. Then we discussed several essay type questions to write down answers. Then by using several figures, we answered several questions. We did several other types of experiments as well to show that several factors are important for the photosynthesis. Then finally, we did several other types of questions like putting ticks and crosses and underlining. So we got a sound knowledge about the biological processes related to plants. So I hope that you also follow up with these questions at your home and you once again replenish your knowledge about the lesson. So my dear children, now we came to the end of our lesson, right? And we discussed several questions at the end of the lesson also. So within our next lesson, I'll be hoping to meet you guys once again. So it's time to say goodbye then. I'll hope you will join with me with our next lesson also.